What's up YouTube, this is Lucas with Foxhawk Gaming, and today we're bringing you an Arkana 40 build that was recommended by Mad Baboon, one of our subscribers and commenters. As far as I know, he's the one who figured out the Dimension Gates farming technique versus Kaiba, so he's always full of really good ideas, and this one is an Elements Unite build with counter traps built in. Now, he had two magic jammers instead of Judgment of Anubis, and from what I noticed with the AI, Judgment of Anubis may not actually be necessary because it looks like the AI plays Thousand Knives before they play Dark Magic Attack if they have both. So, yeah, really don't think Judgment of Anubis is necessary, but I didn't know how the AI was going to behave, so I decided to put those in against Dark Magic Attack. So, in the early stages, just to get a couple of draws off, what I usually do is... Okay, so here's the Thousand Knives. What I usually do is destroy the first couple in case it's a double costin'. Or if it's a Jester, then I can just kill it and you won't have a board. Dark Magician is off the table for a couple more turns. But if it's Mystic Tomato, you gotta watch how much you attack and how much you destroy. Anyways, I misplayed earlier here because this is one of my earlier farmings, I believe. And I should have kept Shard of Greed in hand and Pot of Benevolence because I couldn't counter the Dark Magic Attack, and Shard of Greed would be good for Ultimate Providence, and the Pot of Benevolence would guarantee that we go up 2 cards out of our deck versus Arkana net. Anyways, the idea is once you get like a way to counter the Thousand Knives and a way to counter the Dark Magic Attack, you basically just win. If you counter Thousand Knives, you're just winning, essentially. Pot of Benevolence helps us deck out before Arkana does, because his monsters just go straight through his deck. And Shard of Greed also helps us get there. Keep up an Ultimate Providence for the late game Dark Renewal, just in case Arkana has it. Usually what ends up happening, I notice, is he draws out all of his Dark Magicians and can't activate it. So 2 Union attacks and the Caligo Crow generally get us there. It's exactly 10,000 and it's exactly what we want. So let's take a look at another farming. Okay, so here with another farming, and at first I looked at this and was like, there's no way you can build an Elements Unite against Arkana 40 because of the Thousand Knives, but for him to pull off Thousand Knives, he actually has to have quite a bit going on. He has to get some good Mystic Tomatoes early game, and he has to have Dark Magician and Thousand Knives. If you have a deck loaded up with counter traps, it really becomes quite easy. So, by next turn, he could have powered out a Dark Magician, but he won't, unless he has Thousand Knives against you. So here we basically have the game. Now, I'm 5 out of 5 wins with this deck, 4 out of 5 actual successful 8k farms. But that was due to a misplay on myself. Never load up the back row 3 cards. Always keep it at a max of 2 counter traps. Because what Arkana sometimes does is if he doesn't get his Thousand Knives soon enough, what he'll end up doing is he'll fill his back row and never be able to play it. Now we're setting our Ultimate Providence for the final turn. We just need to draw into some Pot of Benevolence and Shard of Greed here. And it's usually about midway through the game that I actually stop destroying his monsters, because a lot of times it just ends up being Mystic Tomato and you don't want him to draw more cards than he has to, or thin his deck rather more than he has to. So there we got our Shard of Greed. Now we're Pot of Benevolencing. We don't actually have to, but I believe it's a glossy. Actually, it might not be. And here we enter our end sequence with Caligo Pro. Of course, you should, if you don't have double union attacks or even a single union attack, you can easily switch this up to a Piranha build, it looks like. No problem, just Gift, Roku, and Piranha should work. Alright, so one thing that in theory can happen is he could set a Dark Renewal first turn and a Spellcaster, in which case you're just basically screwed. So we are Destruction Jammer, we're in a pretty good place. I think technically I didn't have to kill that face down, but he didn't have the Dark Magician and Thousand Knives anyways. Yeah. For what I noticed, he doesn't play Dark Magician in order to just Dark Magic attack. So, typically, I think a Ryoku field or a Destruction Jammer should be all you need in theory. I haven't tested that out, but that looks to be the case. So Judgment of Anubis shouldn't be necessary. Okay, and here, this is actually a really good farm. I got into a lot of shards, Pot of Benevolence. Now I'm even destroying his cards because I don't really care about the deck thin anymore. And he drew all of his Dark Magicians. Now, I believe Mad Baboon also did his math on this, and I believe with the Union Attack version, it comes up to about 7,800 before Glossies and Prismatics. So you can easily bump this up to 8K. Should be above 7K easily if you have Piranha still. And like I said, so far this is a very good win streak for me. Not quite as turbo as you can make it, but it seems like a pretty safe way to make this deck. Alright, for consistency's sake, let's take a look at one more Arkana 40 duel. At first, playing this deck, I was really concerned every duel about the deck size, because we have a lot of ways to get through the deck and keep pace with Arkana's deck, but still the first couple of times it feels really sketchy, but after a few times you realize that it's actually pretty safe the way this deck is built. So this is one of those cases where we don't really have the answer to his Dark Magician. However, he doesn't have the 1,000 Knives. We have a way higher chance of getting into at least our Ryoku field than he does of getting into his right monsters and also having 1,000 Knives on top of Dark Magician. So here he has the 1,000 Knives, and we'll see that. And he should play it first. He makes some wonky plays. Yep, plays the 1,000 Knives first. So Ryoku field is totally good here. Plays Dark Magic attack afterwards. I actually want this Shard of Greed. It'll allow us to draw into more pots. Start getting some destruction points. Really getting sketchy here with the pots. Basically here I need to draw a Pot of Benevolence, and I end up doing that, and that's going to put us just in enough to finish the farm successfully. There's our last Pot of Benevolence, I believe. Putting his monsters back. Whatever you do, never put 1,000 Knives back. Got our Ultimate Providence, got our trap card to discard to it, we're ready to go here. Secret Pass, double Union attack, and 8,000 points. Now hopefully you're luckier than me and get more than Mystic Box and Diffusion Wave Motion. Anyways, that's a consistent Arkana 40 farming deck. Shout out to Mad Baboon for posting this counter trap build of Elements Unite. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.